Hey everybody. So Carolina took game one in New York from the Islanders last night, 1-0 in overtime. So the first three periods of the game, there wasn't even a goal scored. Obviously a huge defensive battle, a goaltending duel, and in overtime, Carolina gets it done. And I just have to say, I want to talk about this Carolina team. They have been really, really impressive in my mind this postseason. I have been blown away by what the Carolina Hurricanes have been able to do these playoffs. I had Carolina out in 5 games. I was so happy that they finally made the playoffs, and for the first time in 10 years, they got into the postseason, and it was great to see them finally become a playoff team again. But I thought I had no hope for them actually in the playoffs. I thought it was just nice to see them there and that they were going to be done and out quickly. I never, ever expected them to be doing what they're doing. And, they've played incredibly well on home ice. They've been able to steal a couple of road games now, including game one of this series, which really, that's a huge boost for Carolina here. Because now it basically puts the Islanders in a situation where they have to win game two, because you do not want to be down 0-2 heading out onto the road. So the Islanders, all the pressure's on them now. And for Carolina, they just keep on pulling these wins out that are just impressive and very unexpected in my mind. I thought Washington was going to blow through them. I thought Carolina, you're glad to be here. It's nice to have you here, but you're not going to last very long. I thought Washington would have them out in 5 games, and that would be a quick series. They push Washington all the way to 7, and then they win game 7 in double overtime in a just remarkable hockey game. And it continues. Now the Island, they come into the Islanders' home rink in game 1 of the round 2, and they just take game 1, 1-0 too. Which again, that is much more the Islanders' style of game than the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes are a team that usually are winning 4-3, 5-4 type games, whereas the Islanders are your 1-0, 2-1 type team. But Carolina just proved that they can play that kind of game as well. Peter Mrazek has been spectacular in these playoffs. Peter Mrazek has been incredibly good. And obviously, he got the shutout last night, 31-save shutout from Mrazek. What a story he is, because he was the odd man out in Detroit. He ended up getting moved to Philly. He goes to Philadelphia, and no goaltender seems to play well in Philadelphia. Struggles there. The Flyers let him go. He then gets signed by Carolina, and he was coming into this year kind of unsure what Peter Mrazek was going to be. Was he going to be the backup? Was he going to win the starting job? Was he going to get sent to the AHL or even moved and not even have a job? And Peter Mrazek has taken over the Hurricanes net, and he had a tremendous, very, very good regular season this year, but he's taken his game to an even higher level in the playoffs, and he has been spectacular this postseason for the Hurricanes. So goaltending obviously makes a huge difference. And the other thing that I want to talk about is Jordan Staal. Jordan Staal has been fantastic, scoring some huge, huge goals, including the overtime winner last night for the Hurricanes. It was a number of years ago, 2013-14 season, he signed a 10-year, $60 million deal with Carolina, obviously at $6 million per year. And I think for most of the time since then, he's kind of been a disappointment. He wasn't consistently producing offensively. The team wasn't really getting any better. They were never in the playoffs, and it kind of felt like that was a huge contract for Staal, and he really wasn't living up to it until this year. And now that they're into the playoffs and they finally have broken through and become a playoff team, he is playing incredible hockey in these playoffs. He's got 4 goals already in the postseason and some very, very big goals, game-winning goals, game-tying goals. There's really important goals for the Hurricanes. And he's finally starting to show why he was given such a huge contract and for such a long time. When he came out of Pittsburgh, there was high expectations and high, he had a lot of potential as well. And there was a lot of people thought he could be a very, very, high-end player. He's always kind of been that two-way type player, more so than an offensive huge producer. Jordan Staal's not going to give you 100 points in a season, but he's always had that two-way game, and he was very good defensively. But now, after a few years of really kind of struggling and not seeming like he's living up to his contract, he's really making it count now in the playoffs, and he's had I think a phenomenal playoff so far for the Hurricanes, and it was one of the main reasons why the Hurricanes are where they are now, which is ahead in a playoff series in the second round of the playoffs, which very, very few people saw coming, I think. So overall, I have been very, very impressed with Carolina. We'll see if they can keep it going. Obviously, the huge Game 7 win over Washington, I think, really has given them a lot of confidence and propelled them to an even higher level. And they're starting to believe that, hey, we're not just here. We're not just in the playoffs. We're here to win, and we're going to try and win in the playoffs. And so far, they've been able to do that. So congratulations to the Hurricanes and their fans. This has been a long time coming for them to have some success here. And obviously the rebuild has been very long and very painful at times, but I think things are really starting to come together for Carolina, and we're seeing that culminate in a very, very good postseason for them so far this year. So we'll see what happens the rest of the way. I'm certainly not giving the Hurricanes a Stanley Cup yet. There is a long, long way to go. We're only one game into the second round, but I have been thoroughly impressed with what I've seen from the Hurricanes so far in this postseason, and we'll have to wait and see if that continues. But they have done one hell of a job. Rod Brind'amour, the coach, I almost forgot to mention him. He deserves a ton of credit. I think Brind'amour is a very, very good coach. This team has completely bought in to what he is selling, and they seem 100% with him and behind each other. And I think that's a very important thing to have with a team. And I think Brind'amour has done a fantastic job with this Hurricanes team. So with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon and merchandise store are in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.